So as they're prepping my mistake, when they approached me to say, you need to introduce yourself to this community. And I said, sweet. The one thing I don't like to do, talk about myself. So I'm going to give you a little journey of like how I got here. So bear with me. Some embarrassing photos will be presented. But before I do that, as Dr. Harbison described, I was with the service for 17 years, and I wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for all of these partners and many others on this acknowledgement slide. So the things that I've gotten to do, that I'm going to get to do, is not because of me, it's because of everybody and the collaborations that I've been involved in. So I grew up on the Delaware River in Pennsylvania, was born in Philadelphia. I'm sorry if you're a Cowboys fan. I am an Eagles fan. But Bucks County is where I grew up. Loved to play soccer, and I loved to be in the woods catching crayfish, salamanders, snakes, all that sort of stuff. Grew up fishing, did not grow up hunting, but that came to me later on in life. Went to school in Greensboro, North Carolina, did a biology degree, played soccer in college. Between 1998 and 2012 is really where I grew as a biologist. I got to play soccer after college, decided I didn't want to be a coach. So I was like, okay, let's go to grad school. And I just happened to find Sul Ross. I flew in and I visited. And as I was driving from Midland to Alpine, I was like, man, what did I get into? I hit Monahans, right? The landscape changes as you get south. And like, as I got closer to Alpine, I immediately fell in love with this landscape. So came to school, got married, decided to go back for a PhD because I fell in love with wetlands and duck hunting. Worked with Dr. Conway in the back. Well, he's actually not here yet. Worked at Richland Creek Wildlife Management Area, working on waterfowl and those moist soil units that they built out there. Got lucky, got a job with the service, and hence sprung my career. But those early field experiences where I got to catch badgers, got to help other graduate students here at Sul Ross and at SFA, got into duck hunting, and it really started to shape the person, the researcher that I am today. So part of my professional experiences, so my first job with service, I was the assistant to the Pacific Flyway representative. Basically, it's all the states in the West, and we dealt with harvest management of migratory game birds. So ducks, geese, cranes, dove, everything that gets hunted and it migrates. Then I took a job at a regional office in Albuquerque, New Mexico as the regional game bird biologist. And that's where I really started to get into helping out with monitoring, leading habitat conservation efforts, and really just helping the harvest management community answer the questions and make the decisions that were needed to sustain those migratory populations of ducks, geese, cranes, and dove. Also, it allowed me to collaborate with graduate students, state agencies, NGOs, DOD, and the like. So if you think about it, my job, I interacted with Texas Parks and Wildlife all the way up through North Dakota into the Canadian provinces, west to Alaska. I interacted with a migratory game bird biologist in every single one of those states. And that really has helped shape my belief that collaboration is key, right? Large landscapes need groups that work together and that answer questions. So it really took me from being sort of basic science to applied science, right? Like I learned that answering questions that allow resource managers to answer those questions and make those decisions is super important. And I've brought that to the current job. I've not been on campus for a year yet. Mid-September is when I actually stepped back on campus. So currently, the things that I have in place, I've got a sandhill crane, several sandhill crane projects, a northern pintail project that will be answering questions for North Dakota Game and Fish. Dr. Wyckoff and Dr. Reed are helping us do a pilot project out of Medicine Lake National Wildlife Refuge. It's a Texas Parks and Wildlife run banding station in Montana. And we're going to be marking redheads, which are super important to the Laguna Madre system here in Texas, as well as Mexico. And then here locally, we've got a Balmorhea wetland initiative where Dr. Cantu and I acquired some money. We're going to mark some Mexican ducks and do some active management on the Sandia wetlands up in and around Balmorhea. And then looking into the future, in the works, I've got a sandhill crane marking project that will help the Central and Pacific flyways make management decisions as far as habitat as well as harvest management goes. We're doing some collision risk assessments for cranes for a big power line that's crossing the Rio Grande in New Mexico. We've got a Texas playa restoration project, which is really looking at birds, insects, and vegetation. And we're really looking at that trophic community level stuff. And then other things, mallards in the West, particularly in Arizona. Dr. Cantu and I with the service are looking to get operational banding for Mexican ducks up and running in Mexico. It's an endemic species to the Chihuahuan Desert, and it's moving north and east towards model duck country. And then we're looking to just be flexible and proactive and really build collaborations here locally, regionally, nationally to, when you think about migratory game birds or just migratory birds in general, we need to actually look at their annual cycle. So if one piece can be answered here, great. But if we can work in North Dakota for a species like pintail that overwinter here in Texas, we're going to go where those birds can be caught, can be marked, and studied to answer questions. So it's a sustainable cycle for migratory birds. I flew through that, but I think we're actually close to break anyway. All right. So I will take questions if you have them. I'll be here all day.
Just wanted to see if you could talk a little bit more about what you're doing with redheads in Montana. That's at Medicine Lake Wildlife Refuge, correct?
Yeah. So the redhead project that's where they're going to be marked, and they'll have a GPS unit implanted, and that GPS unit will track them. And the thought is we wanted to mark them where they breed and then allow them to go wherever it is they're going to go. The Laguna Madre is thought to overwinter 80% of the continental population, right? So we looked at band returns in Medicine Lake. It's a Parks and Wildlife run station. This is a Parks and Wildlife led effort, and it's going to grow into a bigger project to look at. We're going to mark, right now, we're going to estimate it like 400 to 500 birds starting fall 2027. And it's really meant to allow them to come down to the Laguna and then use human mobility data to look at how these birds are responding to the increased boat traffic, hunting, fishing, and because that system is like key to their annual cycle.
Thank you.